Hey lovelies, so today we're going to be making these awesome little loaded hidden paper clips. So there are two in the kit. They are super cute. I've loaded them up with all kinds of little ephemera that comes with the kit. Little tags, little stamps, all kind of lovely little bits and pieces. So they're all loaded. Yeah, and that's what we're going to be making. So I'll just show you how they slot on. I'll just slot them onto a tag so you can kind of see. They'll have a little opening here and they just go on like that. So they're going to make a really lovely addition to our journal. Alrighty, let's get into it. Hello. So today we're making paper clips, hidden paper clips. I've gone through and printed out the kit. I'll just show you the pages that I've got here. So I've got the little pockets and some of our little ephemera. Now I've printed that on plain US leather. What I have done though is I've printed from our paper pattern kit just a plain piece like that. I'm going to use this to back these pieces of ephemera. I could print on the back there, but I think adding an extra layer just gives me the thickness, but I don't want my little pockets to be too thick. So that's my approach with those ones. Next up is my little cards. So these I have printed on 200 GSM, and I printed on the back of that. So that's a nice thickness for all my little bits and pieces. So this kit is part of the Summer Rose Fairies. It is for the members. So pop along to Ko-Fi and download it if you're already part of the membership. Alrighty, where am I up to? So I've got 2 pages of pockets and they're printed out. Because everything's going to be folded in except for these 2 little cards, I've done that on white as well, and I'll back those with that other thing too. So that's my plan. Oh, I'll put that's one of the folios that I've been popping in later. I don't know how that got in there. Anyway, put that one over there for later. Alrighty, so these are all printed out. They look so cute. I can't wait to start assembling this. These will be available for a limited time. I think we sort of at the moment we're letting them go for about 2 months before taking things down. So I would suggest that if you are a member, pop on over, download everything. Even if you don't download it, put it in your cart, check out on Ko-Fi, and that will ensure that you are able to download it in the future just whenever you're ready. All right, my loves, I'm going to go and do some snipping out and I will be back shortly. Hey, my loves, so we are back. Everything is cut out and scored and we are ready to go. I've got my 4 little pockets, my 2 strips, which are going to form the basis of my paper clips. I've got all my little masses of ephemera. The cards that weren't on the sheet that had the green on the back, I have stuck that backing paper on that I mentioned. So they look really cute. They've all got the little beautiful roses. So that's a big pile of ephemera to go in once we're sorted and built. So and I've also got my little pockets. So these are all scored. They basically all fold. If you kind of think of everything folds down, you're on the right track because everything folds down. So we'll probably start with these and then we'll move on to actually putting our paper clips in and sealing them up. Then we can put our little pockets on and then we can stuff our little loaded paper clip. Alrighty, why don't we start with our paper clips to start off with? I think that might be a good place to start. So, very simple to start with. This little bottom flap needs to come up and be glued down. So, Step 1, glue the little flap up. Okay, so that's that one done. And next one along. Sure they all line up. Here we go. Step 1 done and dusted. So we can put paper clips over the top now. Most of your paper clips you'll see have a short end, like a short side and a long side. I put the short on the short. That's my short side and that's my short side there. And the long on the long. So we'll get these paper clips on. We've got a base to build from. Okay, next up are our envelopes, or little pockets. So these are kind of cute. You just sort of have to make sure you do them in the right order because they can be a bit tricky. So think of them as in you've got 2 pockets. You've got one pocket this side and one pocket that side, and then they're just joined. So if you think about it, if we do this pocket, we can do the 2 side flaps. Oops, now I've gone and done the wrong side, haven't I? Done the inside, not the outside. So I'm going to scrape that glue off, flip that over, and there we go. So glue on the coloured sides, yeah? Okay, we'll just line that all up, and there we go. That's one side done. Now what you can do, and I might just do this before we go too far, is you've got a white section on the other side here. 2 things you can do. You can use just a bit of scrap, and we're going to fill that in on the inside. That's one way of doing it. I quite like the idea of using this because this is what's backing all of our little ephemera. So that might look quite cute and kind of keep it all in the same kind of colours. So we might just slide this in while we're here just to back that. The other option is to actually just mirror the cut. So when we glue it on, you've got the cut pieces lining up. Sorry, what's happened? My gluing, I've been a bit excited with this. There we go. And we're not overly done those tabs. I'm just going to pull those apart and just run my awl down the side just to make sure that I've got clearance. There we go. Oh. I should be able to slot my bit of paper in now. There we go. All right, I'm just slotting that in. Push that down. There we go. And that will just hide that little bit of white that was showing up there. So there are your 2 options. The other thing is you could just print the whole back, but in my view, I like to sort of try and not use too much ink if I don't have to. And that, to me, that kind of feels a bit wasteful almost to print the whole back just for that little section there. So I tend not to do that. But okay, so that's that one side done. We'll do this side. And I might do the same here, or I might cut this one out just to sort of show you the 2 different ways of handling these. Okay, so I'm just pushing that down, get it sorted. And this one I'm just going to follow the line of the top divot that's been cut out. Here we go. So either way, that's a way of handling that. So our next step with this is we can now glue this on our paperclip. So what you do need to be careful of is there is a short side here and there's a short pocket, and there's a long side and a long pocket. So we want to make sure that we line the long side up with the long and the short up with the short. Otherwise things don't work quite well for our flip. Our little flap here it gets a bit stuck. So that's how we're going to go with this. And having these two pieces here rather than just a pocket on the front, make sure that we cover up this and just gives it a bit more rigidity. So next step is, and I'm going to do this bit by bit just so that we get everything, can make sure everything's lined up as we go and everything's on square. So I'm going to put my long side on. Make sure that's lined up perfectly. There we go. Happy with that, and that's covered my paperclip. And I'm going to do my short side. Give it a bit of a squeeze, make sure it's lined up too. And now these always can be a little bit tricky because you've got to, remember you've got a paper clip under there. So you've got a chunky piece of metal that's quite thick, which can attempt to throw your lining of things out. So just be a little bit aware of that. I think I could probably do a little bit more glue under here. Let's just add a little bit more because that's starting to lift. Okay. All right. So that's our first base done. On to the next one. And you've seen, we've talked you through this one. So I'm just going to speed this up. Okay, so we now have our 2 base units done, and honestly they're pretty enough as they are. You could start filling them now if you want it. I certainly have enough interest in them already. If you do want to go a little bit further, we can add our little pockets. So if you notice, we've got 2 long pockets, this long, and then 2 short pockets, so kind of that long. So you want to make sure that you add the long pocket goes on the big side and the short pocket goes on the smaller side, like so. Okay, that way they will still all line up. So that's our next step. What I'm going to do is, that's really pretty. I don't think I want to cover that up today. So I'm going to do a small pocket on this side because she's really pretty and I kind of like that. And I might do a long pocket on this one. And I quite like that pattern there, so I'm going to leave that one. So they're my 2 pockets I'm going to put on. These, I'm going to stick them in somewhere else in my journal. I might stick them on the back of a journal card or another tag or something like that. Certainly I can use them elsewhere. They're very useful. I just don't feel like I want to put them on here. I could, but I'm just in love with this beautiful rose mini print. And I keep using it on things because it's so pretty. All right, let's get these pockets stuck on. Then I might have a little break. We'll wait for this to dry and we'll come back and fill everything up with ephemera. Okay, so she's on nice and square. Pretty, and we'll do this one. Make sure I've got it all lined up right. There we go. Okay. Looking pretty, looking pretty. Okay, so that's our paper clips done. They will clip over. I'm just looking at something I can show you what they look like clipped on. I can clip them onto here. Here we go. They're going to sit on your journal, kind of like that. So that's looking pretty cool. That's our other one. Also looking pretty cool. So there are other sides. So they are ready to go. I'm going to give them a couple of minutes just to dry out a little bit before I start putting things in. What I don't want to do is put my little ephemeras in and then if there's any glue that hasn't quite set, they'll end up gluing my ephemera into the pockets. I don't want to do that. So I'm going to get my awl and I'm just going to slide that down and make sure that nothing's glued where it shouldn't be glued. I'm going to go around and do that to all my pockets just to make sure that I can fit things in everywhere. There we go. That one, I think that green was a little bit glued, but it's not now. So this is just something that I've started to do because I kept on running into where I'd been a bit too generous with the glue. And I was kind of gluing the edge of my pockets down too far. This is why I like the pockets with the tabs because it means you can put ephemera straight to the edge. You're not losing a bit of your pocket to glue. I think both ways of doing things have their place. But when you've got really little pockets, you don't want to lose the space on the side. See, this one's we've had a bit of glues stuck down. I can feel a bit of resistance. You can probably see the all here. So I'm just really gently, I don't want to poke a hole through the paper, just very carefully working that up just to make sure that I can still fit ephemera in there. Okay, I think that's as good as it's going to get. But I've just gone through and, did I do this one already? Oh no, I didn't. There we go. Just make sure that we can fit our little beautiful pieces of ephemera in there. All right, so they're all done. I'm not going to push them down anymore. Our little ephemera's turned out so cute. And they're going to be so cute peeking out of these pockets. So we've got gorgeous little foxy friends. As always, got to have some foxy friends. Why isn't this going in? There we go. He can just be hidden in there. Turn over to the back. This is just beautiful strawberries, very vintage. I will at some point go through and do some inking around the edges too, just to get them a little bit more vintage looking. And we've just got some little cards to go in. And I like this one with the little label spaces. Go in there. And there's heaps of little ephemera here, so you're not going to run out of choices to stuff these pockets with, which is good. And there will be some extras as well. And that's kind of, I find that, yeah, I could just stuff them all in here, but it's nice just to have a few extra little bits and pieces to put elsewhere through your journal. There's always little ways of sneaking little bits of ephemera all through your journal. So it's good to have a lot of little extras. Okay, I'm getting there. Might even put a little bit of ribbon through some of these little tags that have got the holes in the top. And I could just keep on stuffing and stuffing, couldn't I? Never ending stuffing of things. All right. So that's our 2 paper clips pretty much done and finished and ready to go in a journal. So that's good. I could even put that. Got a little circle which I'm having trouble picking up. I have to decide if I'm going to put the paper clip on that way or that way, because I could just paste her here somewhere. That might look cute with a little bit of lace underneath. I'll wait until everything's dry and have a bit of a think about how to do that and what I want to do there. But that could look really, really neat, I think. And I've still got more to go and more to go, so that's not bad. I probably had, if I put the extra pockets on, I could have put some down in there, but I'm not upset I didn't do that. Oops, I'm going to lose things down in the pocket. Let's pull that out. There we go. There we are. And I just have this one with the bee in there. All right, you can get carried away. As you can see, I'm getting carried away. We have 2 beautiful paper clips now, finished and ready to add to a journal. Thank you for crafting along with me. I've really enjoyed putting these together. This has been a lot of fun. There's still more to go, but I think I'm kind of happy with where I've got to. Bit of inking, and then these will be ready. But that's kind of as far as we will go today. I did just want to talk you through the construction of them, and we are done. Thank you. Now, if you would like these, they are available on my Ko-Fi store as part of our monthly membership. So there's a whole kit that goes with them that is all in this Summer Rose Fairies kind of theme. It is beautiful. I'm having such a wonderful time building it. I would love it if you came and joined me and we can build along together. Alrighty, I will leave you to it. Thanks everyone, and we'll see you shortly. Bye.